Today we will get acquainted with one of the most prominent Impressionists of the Netherlands. It seems that you already know him, as there are many videos of his works on the internet. But now I invite you to an interesting journey where we will see the best paintings of the artist in very good quality, learn his biography and how he became an Olympic champion. Provide exclusive links to the artist's paintings that depict frank female portraits and are not allowed to be openly published on YouTube. I think you're interested, so let's get started. Imagine Amsterdam in the mid-19th century, a city of canals, light, and inspiration. It was here on February 3rd, 1865, that a boy was born who was destined to become one of the most recognizable Dutch artists of the modern era, Isaac Israëls. But from the very first day, his life was covered not only by the ray of talent, but also by the shadow of a great name. His father, Jozef Israëls, was not just an artist, but a true titan of 19th century Dutch painting. The leader of the Hague School, the author of deeply moving paintings about ordinary people and sailors. He did not just paint pictures, he created moods. Joseph was, for his time, what Jean-François Millet was for France. Isaac grew up next to this deeply respected master, watching every day as the brush brought the canvas to life and the light spots of paint told human stories. Little Isaac grew up surrounded by palettes, canvases, and art talk, and would sneak peeks at his father in the studio, where the smell of paint mingled with the aroma of coffee, and the air was filled with silence and inspiration. He did not just play between the easels, he learned to see the world through the eyes of an artist. At the age of 10, he painted his first portraits of his grandmother. Literature, conversations about art, visits from artists, poets, and philosophers, all this created a creative environment. This early experience shaped not only his aesthetics, but also his worldview. He grew up not just as a son of an artist, but as a part of the artistic process. Young Isaac Israëls could have easily followed the beaten path, following academic canons, working in his father's shadow, painting strict scenes from the life of fishermen and peasants. But the artist's soul was striving for something else, for the rhythm of the city, for movement, for the moment. At the age of 15, Isaac entered the Royal Academy of Arts in The Hague. His talent is obvious, but his restlessness is even more striking. He is uncomfortable within the confines of the academic mold. It was here, in The Hague, that he met George Hendrik Breitner, a like-minded man who was also fascinated by the street scene, the dynamics of modern life, and impressionistic techniques. In 1886, Isaac left the academy and plunged into the world of coffee shops, dance halls, and street scenes with Breitner. Their paintings are the vibration of the city. The strokes are fast, the colors are bold, as if Amsterdam itself were breathing on the canvas. Together they became the leaders of a new Dutch painting, the so-called Amsterdam Impressionism. In 1885, Isaac received an honorable mention at the Paris Salon for his painting, The Transport of the Colonials from Rotterdam. This was the first step towards international recognition. At the age of 16, Isaac sold his first important painting, Bugle Practice, a scene from military life. And it immediately aroused the interest of collectors and critics. The young artist seems to say, "I am here, and I have my own voice." But the most radical turn in his thinking came with his acquaintance with the Tactigers movement, a literary and artistic group that opposed cold rationalism and promoted art as an emotional, sensual experience. It was a breath of freedom. Technique no longer dictates the plot. Emotion determines everything. His brushstrokes become lighter and his compositions more dynamic. He no longer depicts life. He catches it in motion, in breath, in a moment. It seems to me that one of the best examples of how the artist managed to depict a moment and convey invisible movements of air with just a few strokes is his painting, Fierce Wind. This was the whole point of Impressionism, to show the invisible, to show emotions and feelings. What do you think is more important to you, technique or emotion? Please write in the comments. To understand Isaac Israëls, one must not only appreciate his paintings, but also listen to the noise of the streets where he lived. This artist was a son of cities. He was inspired by the rhythm of shop windows, the flirtation of street cafes, the bustle of fashion salons, ballerinas in light tutus, boxers with tense muscles, and the conversations of ordinary passers-by. For him, the city was like a huge canvas on which a new scene was born every second. Starting in 1886, Amsterdam became his first great passion. It was here that Isaac, after returning from The Hague, settled in the center of dynamic city life. He painted girls on bicycles, fashion designers, cafe girls, ironers, and streets after rain. The city lives on his canvases like a movie scene. Isaac works for the famous fashion house Hirsch and C. He paints seamstresses' work, creates portraits of fashion models, costumes, and an atmosphere of luxury. But even in these glamorous scenes, there is always a slight negligence, like the breath of real life. He settles in Paris in 1904, near Montmartre, a neighborhood where Degas and Toulouse-Lautrec already live, where cafes discuss the latest Impressionist exhibitions, and cabaret dancers take the stage in theaters. Isaac plunges into this world with his head. He is back among people, among movement, color, and light. His favorite characters are acrobats, circus performers, and dancers. In their movements, he sees the beauty of the moment. No staging, just a moment, felt and captured. And during the First World War, Isaac is forced to live in London. He finds inspiration again, this time in the images of British ballerinas, boxers, aristocrats, and spies. Thus, it was during this period that he painted a series of portraits of one of the most mysterious women of the century, Marguerite Gertrude Zell, better known as Mata Hari, who was executed as a spy in France in 1917. Her portrait can be seen in the Kröller-Müller Museum. Her story, love, betrayal, stage, and death captured the artist's imagination. Her image becomes not just a portrait, but a mirror of the era. Isaac does not just live in all these cities. He absorbs their energy, their voices, their rhythm like a sponge. His paintings are urban poetry, without pathos, without masks, with a chamber, sensual truth. Next up is a story about his travels to the East, how he won gold at the Olympics, and why his life ended so suddenly. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't miss the ending of this fascinating story. In the early 1920s, Isaac Israëls felt that European cities, with their bustle and theatrical secularism, were no longer able to satisfy his inner thirst. He wanted to see a different rhythm, not the one dictated by trams, shop windows, or ballet rehearsals, but the one hidden in the noise of palm trees, in dances that tell myths, in colors that had not yet mingled with the smoke of industrialization. In 1921, 56-year-old Isaac embarked on an expedition to India and the Dutch East Indies, including the island of Bali. It was a turning point. There he seemed to meet another side of himself. The street girls and acrobats of Paris were a thing of the past. Now his eyes were drawn to gamelan players, ritual dances, women in colorful saris, and children in ceremonial wreaths. And these scenes were neither a performance nor a pose. They were real. The artist literally lived with a brush in his hands. He created sketches right during the processions, sketching faces and gestures while the dance was going on. His palette is like an explosion of tropical light. Previously, his works were dominated by gray-blue, blurred shades of European cities, but now there is an explosion of yellow, red, turquoise, and coral colors. In Bali, he is fascinated by local rituals. Dancing is not for the stage, but for the gods. Every finger movement is important. Here, Isaac spent months studying traditional dances and rituals. He captured these moments not documentarily, but with an inner tremor, like a poet recording dreams. His sketches preserve the ethereality of the dancers' movements and the magic of the nightly ceremonies. These travels did not make Israëls an exotic artist. He did not turn India into a decorative subject. Instead, he discovered a new language of color, a new sensuality, and brought it back to Europe. When he returned to The Hague in 1922, he did not remain locked in his memories. No, now the light of Asia penetrated his European scenes. Paris, London, Amsterdam, in his eyes now had different colors, different depth. His style became mature, synthetic, devoid of borders. And then the most interesting thing awaits us: the artist's Olympic triumph, the tragic circumstances of his life, and the masterpieces that were sold at auctions for almost €500,000. The year is 1928. The Summer Olympic Games are taking place in Amsterdam. But these games are special. They honor not only bodily strength, but also the power of the imagination. As part of the cultural program, there is an art competition where artists from all over the world compete in painting, sculpture, and literature. Among the participants is 63-year-old Isaac Israëls, a well-known master who managed to combine European sensuality with the rhythms of the East. His work, The Red Rider, wins a gold medal. This is not only a personal triumph, it is a recognition of his entire school, his path, his ability to see movement, moment, and life. But life is also a moment. October 1934, The Hague. Isaac Israëls, full of creative plans, walks the streets of his hometown. Suddenly, there is a blow, a scream, and that's it. The artist is hit by a car. This tragic event and the resulting injuries cut short the life of the 69-year-old genius in just 2 days. The artist, who spent his entire life capturing the movement of the world, died in a collision with its newest symbol, the car. It was a tragic but symbolic death, the artist's meeting with an era that had already stepped into modernity. His partner, the famous Dutch actress Sophie de Vries, also met a difficult fate. After experiencing one tragedy, she was facing another. In 10 years, in 1944, she would die in the Auschwitz concentration camp. After his death, Israëls left a huge legacy: thousands of paintings, sketches, and diaries. His works can be seen today in the leading museums of Amsterdam, The Hague, Rotterdam, as well as at world auctions. But the most valuable thing is the lively look that he preserved in his paintings. For a moment, a woman adjusting her hat in the mirror, a child dancing in the ballet hall, a writer disappearing in a haze of color. You can see his paintings in the Rijksmuseum Amsterdam, the Kröller-Müller Museum, and even the Museo de la Zuma in Mexico. In 2005, his painting, Walking on Donkeys Along the Beach, sold for €482,400 at Christie's Amsterdam. And his At the Table at Le Paraquet restaurant, for €493,600. Dear friends, if you liked the paintings and found our story about this brilliant artist interesting, please like it. It helps to promote the video. Be sure to write in the comments which painting by Isaac Israëls impressed you the most, or what topic in art you would like to explore further. If you don't like something or need to improve something in the video, also write in the comments. We are always happy to listen to your advice. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories about painting geniuses from around the world. Your views, comments, and subscriptions are the fuel for our art project. Thank you for your attention, and see you soon in the art world.